All right, we're good to go. All right, I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to do a quick intro. This is my man, my great friend of many, many years, Steve Cardillo, who is the designer, the originator, the CEO, the president, and the boss of Cardillo weight belts that have been around now 30 years?
34.
34 years.
Yep.
And I have, I got to be going around 50 belts now. And, Steve is just a great friend, a great man. To anyone that knows him, it's as loyal as it comes. And he does so much for our industry. And, a lot of people don't know it. He's one of the most recognizable names in the entire sport of bodybuilding. And I want to show, before we get started, this gift I got yesterday. And comes in a nice bag. This is the most beautiful craftsmanship that I've seen yet of all my belts. This is pretty unbelievable. First we start with Cardillo. Then we go to these pictures, which are just, I can't even imagine that can be done.
Yeah, Pete.
And then
Pete
look
did
at
a great
this.
job. Pete did a great job on that one.
Look at that. The Boston skyline. I mean, that is just beautiful.
I'm glad you love it.
And then we can't leave out Anc Nutrition.
Yep.
This is unbelievable. And man, I'm so excited. Some people had made comments like, I wouldn't even wear that thing. I just put it up. Well, I like to wear them too. So,
well, the good thing about you is you wear it, you get when it gets grubby, you get another one. No problem.
Exactly.
That's the secret.
So thanks again, Steve. Thanks for coming on. I know you're really busy. And I know you know my good friend here, Nate Tello, as well.
Yep. Nate's great.
Yep. Nate the Great. Maybe that's what it is.
That's what we're going to go with.
We're trying to find a big name. They're all taken. Once we think of one, someone else has already claimed it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm waiting for that catchphrase to put on that Cardillo belt. That's what we're looking for.
Well, once you put it on the belt, it's yours, brother. Then everyone else is a copycat. So let's get it on there first.
It's like relationships. Relationships aren't real until it's on Instagram. So
until they get on a belt, then it's real.
Right. So let's get into it, buddy. I know you got some notes. Is there anything you want to come out and tell us before we start bombarding you with questions?
Well, I mean, obviously, recently I've been getting a lot of people asking me to do these podcasts and how many things can you keep being repetitive about. So the great thing about doing it with you is, I think the most important thing is we touching on loyalty. You are probably one of the most loyal people to my brand. We can talk about Paul DeMeo and how the transition kind of where you came in and kind of followed him in regards to kind of representing my company, which just happened from friendship. But this one, I think we talk about loyalty and, the kind of maybe a little bit about the politics of the sport to enlighten some of the younger bodybuilders to not make some of the mistakes that a lot of people make when they're trying to make the path of professional bodybuilding. Kind of me on the outside looking in over the 34 years, I think I've kind of somewhat dialed in on it. Right. But most importantly, you've been a great friend of mine. You've been an amazing ambassador to my company, as well as every other company that you represent. And the great thing about you, again, I don't want to, beat on this, but every company that you have ever worked for, you've always come back to us and kind of say, hey, Steve, that was a great company. Can you help me support my new company? And that's kind of a very important part about anyone. And it's telling you the type of person that you are and why you went so long in the industry. So that's kind of where we're at. But you hit me with some stuff, and then I'll kind of intertwine. And I'd like to we can talk about Paul and
Well, I want to start there because that was towards the beginning of your career. Tell me about the first time you started making belts. What made you get into it, and what gave you the love and desire to? Obviously, you must have just started wearing a belt and thinking, what's the best way to utilize this thing or how to make a better one?
Well, I've always, my uncle kind of introduced me to weight training when I was like, 13, 14. First thing he gave me was a belt. So he kind of somewhat gave me the importance of a belt. Over the years, I competed in powerlifting at a pretty high level, but the belts were always uncomfortable. They pinched your hips and ribs, and they were just stiff. And that was kind of the way the industry was, a hard. People thought that hard meant more support. I wanted to make something more pliable, softer, and more comfortable. I approached a company that at that time was in business over 75 years, doing industrial linesman equipment, the best in the world. So we became a partnership. They do the branch of my weightlifting belts, which I just made them more comfortable, put a contour in the ribs and hips. I started with the powerlifting belt and then made the transition to bodybuilding. But it just was for a more comfortable belt, so that when you wear it, you wear it to the, I see some videos, you're wearing it to the restaurant, you forget you even have it on. But that was the purpose of it, you know what I mean? To be comfortable. When you play baseball, you want a comfortable glove, you break it in, you never want anything else but that. This is the most important piece that you use when you're training to protect your health, I feel. So why not have the most comfortable belt? So it just went on from there, that's kind of the starting point of it.
That's a great point. Yesterday, when I picked up the belt, I went to the gym, and I always have 2 or 3 belts in my bag, no matter what, just in case. Just in case Nate forgets his, and I'll let him wear one of mine. And I went in the gym, and I was showing people the belt, and I put it on. And then I had another one, and I'm like, oh, look at this one. And then eventually, when I started training, I went back to the softest, oldest, most broken in, the first Boston Mass belt you bought me, the black one.
Yes.
It's like the softest leather. It's like an old pair of moccasins.
Yes.
And it's just amazing. So you're right. The more comfortable, that's the one you end up putting on.
Yes, correct, exactly. And that's the flagship belt. The black one, we do the colors, we do that one, which will break in comfortably. But the flagship belt is my deluxe black belts. Those are the ones that, Dexter has quite a few. Flex. A lot of guys have multiple belts, but the one they always fall back on is the black leather one. That's the Mac Daddy.
Yeah. You have, everyone's gotten a belt. I mean, from Michael Jordan to Hulk Hogan to The Rock to everyone who's anyone. But I want to touch on that guy who was towards the beginning in the, what was it, late 80s, early 90s, Paul DeMeo. Paul DeMeo was Quadzilla.
Yep.
And he's the local guy, very close to you. But he grew up in Malden?
Malden, yes.
Yep, which was the next town over from your store.
Yes.
And, I used to see him in the gym when I was a kid, and I was mesmerized by the guy. I couldn't take my eyes off him. And what a lot of people don't know is he was a great guy too. And people loved him, and he was on his way to great things. And tell me a little bit about your relationship with him and how that all started.
All right, so it all started, Gold's Gym opened up with Joe Grassi and John Grassi, who eventually Joe won the Nationals, became a pro. John was kind of the businessman. Both of them were extremely good to me. Paul trained there. My house, I actually lived probably 100 yards from the gym. So I met Paul there. Obviously, he was a freak of nature, extremely. He made a presence. So he had some 6-inch belt on in the back, and I said, Paul, I was just starting my company. I'd like to, make you a belt. He said, sure. I don't think I'll be able to get away from the 6-inch back, but as soon as he got his new belt, he made the transition, realizing the 6-inch belt was for a dinosaur. But the bottom line is, he said to me, Steve, he was only 16 or 17 years old, obviously a freak. He said, Steve, if you ever need anybody to model your belt or anything you need, I'm here for you. I know I'm just 17 years old or whatever he was. He extended the branch, and I said, Paul, you're amazing. I see great potential in you. I would be honored to have you, represent my company. Ironically, he almost looks like the logo that I had, the cartoon character. He actually fell in place. So he kind of understood at the beginning of, back then there was no social media. So through advertising and print ads, he basically got notoriety through my ads that he already had notoriety because he was on the way up. and I got him exposure. So he knew at the time I just started. He said, Steve, I don't want anything from you. I just want to help you if you can help me. And that's how the relationship started. So by him doing that for me, it's ironically, it's a 30th anniversary this year for Metrics. So I was already working with Bill Phillips and all these people in the industry. And so when they asked me, they came to me and said, Steve, hey, you know any good athletes that you think would represent Metrics? So right away, who comes to my mind? Paul. I said, this kid is an up-and-comer. He's a freak, great person, great ambassador. And I basically put the deal together. He was the first Metrics athlete. I put the deal together for him for what he did for me, not asking me for anything. So just like you, in the sense of, you just came to me, you wear my belt, you represent me. Every single company that asked me about an athlete as I was going along the journey with us, I would always bring your name up. I said, this guy here, he's loyal. He's straight shooter. He uses your product. He's a great ambassador. He's good to me. I speak highly of you to them. So in the industry, people ask me, hey, is this guy any good? Is that guy any good? I never say anything bad, but I will direct them in the direction I think they go. So like I said before, knowing you, we talked about iForce at the time. You signed with iForce. And when you left iForce, you went to another company. They called me. I said, he's great, so on and so forth. So it's not about, in the industry, it's not about directly, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? In the sense of, you never said to me, hey, I want this, I want that, I want this. We just had a relationship. So when the opportunity arose for me to try to help you, I wanted to help you because you helped me. Yeah. It's about the people of short term. Hey, what can you do for me now? That ain't what it's about. It's about long term. Years ago, Anthony Clark, the powerlifter, I cut the deal with Metrics. I got him a huge deal because of what he did for me. He said he was working for a company called Tokyo or something, but he came to me to wear the power belt. When the opportunity arose, I cut him a deal with Reebok. So it's not about what you can do for me right now. Everything we do is a marathon. So by everyone helping each other, I think that's the way it's done. So Paul helped me indirectly. I helped him by getting him a deal. Talking about, we're getting a little bit about, at that time he was an amateur. He was the guy that kind of wanted to do everything. And back then it was Mike Matarazzo and him. Yeah. Remember Mike?
Of course.
Okay, so Mike was a little more, he took a different route where Paul wanted to go through the channels of competing, in the sense that he felt the junior national was the first step, then going to the nationals, going up the ranks to make the pros. Where Mike was in a rush, he just went from New England's to USA to the pros. Yeah. So he knew that's what he wanted to do. He had a personality of his own. He made his money through marketing his arms, his legs, and his personality, where Paul was going the direction of his legs. But in his mind, he couldn't get that. He wanted to be the complete package. He didn't want to go just like Tom Platz did.
Right.
So going to him again, we went out to, when the WBF came along, he was the first amateur that they offered a deal to. I'm sitting in the office with Tom Platz and him, and Tom is so excited about wanting to sign him because he wanted to market Paul like he would have wanted to been marketed in his day. Right. And Paul sat there. He offered him a good amount of money. Paul said, no, I want to stick with the NPC, Jim Mannion. I want to do the route, go that way. He ended up winning the Nationals. And then that was from, that's how it all kind of began from him. He stayed loyal to Jim Mannion. He stayed loyal to the NPC. If you're not IFBB, you're not bodybuilding. Basically, that's how he felt, and that's kind of the way it is.
It's easy to stay loyal to that organization because if you truly believe you're the best or you want to be the best, you got to go against the best, and that's where they are.
Yes.
So, it's a pretty simple transition there.
Yes, and back then, Jim Mannion was extremely good to me. His son was extremely good to me. You had to have photography in magazines. They have always been good to me. Back then the WWE was great to me. So I was just, the Patriots wear my belt, but also, Tampa wears my belt. I have to be kind of neutral, but when at the end of the day, you have to raise your hand on who you're with. And that's kind of how it goes. So, you know, he got a bad rap since he passed away, people shitting on him, saying shit, but he was an amazing person. He was 16 years old, a freak. He'd come out of the gym and someone would key his card because they were jealous of him. So it being 16, 17, you really don't understand. Why would people treat me the way they treat me? Because of jealousy, but he didn't understand that. So that kind of made him bitter. That's where the bitterness came from later on, because people would shit on him or talk behind his back because he was good. They used to say, oh, Paul, you're off the drugs. He was 225 off the drugs. I said, you would love to look as bad as he looks on drugs. What are you talking about?
Right.
You know, well, why are you putting the kid down? He's gifted. Matarazzo was gifted. You can take all the shit you want. You're not going to look like those two.
Right.
Bottom line.
Yeah. Everyone I know that knew Paul back in the day, they're nowhere near the nonsense that people were speaking afterwards. You know, everyone has their demons or their bad day, but the people that truly knew him all loved him and spoke very highly of him. He was a hard worker, and he was one of those guys that would do anything for you. But it's unfortunate that, you know, he passed away the way he did, and that people, and that's just human nature. People like to shit on people, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sad because he was a great person. He had a great build, man. That's what it is. You know what I mean? You know, talking about the Olympias and all these, you know, all you guys, you're in the top 5. What this guy's toenails a little longer today, you know, it comes down to the top 5 pro bodybuilders on stage at Mr. Olympia are the best of the best. Yeah. It comes down to who's, you know, it's a business. We know it's a business. Years ago, it really wasn't a business. You had 7 pros, right? You had the 5 national winners, the North America and Mr. USA. You became 7 pros a year. Now they expanded it. You have all different classes. You have all different everything. So there's more pros, making the business of bodybuilding and fitness more attractive for everybody.
Now, do you think that helped you? It had to have, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Back years ago, you made 7, you know, pro belts, which, you know, you made them for everyone that was getting ready to turn pro. Now everyone, once they turn pro, it's almost like a fraternity. They want to get a Cardillo belt, which is amazing. I kind of say get it earlier so you become pro quicker. But it's kind of, they're waiting to turn pro to get the belts. So with all the organization, you know, with all of the different classes, and it makes it so much better for everybody.
It's huge. Thank you, Mr. Mannion, for helping out Steve Cardillo here, because whether it's bikini or physique or figure, bodybuilding, classic, they all want their IFBB Cardillo belt.
Yes, going back to, you know, when Arnold won, right? He was a freak, right? So back then they had to make a transition. Frank Zane won the Olympias, probably 175 pounds. Yeah. But they had to throw in at that time a guy who weighs 180 pounds, because you had to have the dream that you could become a professional bodybuilder even at 180 pounds. So they were smart. They made the 212s. Rich Gaspari took 3rd place 3 Olympias at 215. He would have dominated the 212s. Right. He would have been the man 212. But, you know, you're going against Lee Haney. That ain't going to happen. Right. So they made the 212s with you guys, which ironically, you know, out of all the classes and all the people, the 212s, you guys all have an amazing camaraderie. You always tell me, hey, make a belt for this guy, this guy. You never once said anything bad about your competitors. Yeah. You know, you guys all seem to be friendly. It is what it is. The top 5, whatever's on stage, the top 5's Carrera, you, Flex, Hyde, you're all unbelievable. What's separating you? It might come down to, you know, who's going to be the best ambassador for the sport that year. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's an IFBB show. It's Jim Mannion show. It's a, you know, an NPC show. I remember going out with Bob Arum when he in the Petronellis with Hagler in the boxing days with Steve Collins. So there's no throwing a fight, but the bottom line is Bob Arum promotes the fight. Bob Arum had the referees. He has the judges. You're his fighter. The other guy he's going for is going to go your way, because everyone who's judging and reffing knows that he's your fighter. So you have to kick his ass, knock him out for them to give you the decision. Otherwise, he didn't say, hey, I want Steve Collins to win this fight. But they knew he was for Steve Collins. Yeah. Follow me? So
experienced that.
yeah.
I went through that myself. It's like I knew that in order for me to beat Flex Lewis, I would have to obliterate him. I would have
Yes.
to knock him out.
Yes.
And that never happened. Even though I thought I beat him a few times, I never knocked him out. So I couldn't really argue it. You know,
No.
it is what it is.
Because you know, again, you speak highly of him. He knows. You know, I take a little shit from him because he knows we're tight, but he's extremely good to me.
Yep.
So when it came time for you guys to battle, it puts me in a bad spot. But he knows that I'm going to sway. You know, we're like brothers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's my mate. You're my brother.
Yeah.
But you know, you always praised him. You know, you were the freaky looking, veiny. He was more the pretty. So at the time, you can't take it away. He has an unbelievable physique. Right. So you, like you said, you had to knock him on his ass. But you know, he's going to get the wave because he does nothing wrong. He always comes in on point. Exactly. He's a great representation for the sport. You know, Carrera's a great guy. He can't knock him out. You're not going to knock him out because he doesn't come in too often, not ready. Right.
And he knows exactly what not to do, which sometimes is more important than knowing what to do.
Yes. And again, you're a great ambassador, but, you know, even kind of going back to the one mistake you made, but I could never say anything because it was already done, is when you went with muscular development, right? How could a kind of an MD athlete win an IFBB show when they wouldn't be able to put you in Flex magazine?
Yeah. There was a lot.
How are you going to be put in the Flex? You're not even their athlete.
Yeah, that's a great argument. And I think the only person to do it was Jay Cutler, because he was at the peak of his career. He was the most well-known bodybuilder in the world, and he had just signed with Muscular Development, and he was able to win that 1 year.
Yes.
But that was the common thought process that, like, if you're not a Weider athlete, you're not winning the Olympia. You're not winning a Weider show. So, but
in a business sense, it makes a lot of sense because, for example, let's go to Sports Illustrated. Yeah. When you see a Sports Illustrated athlete, 90% of them are wearing Nikes. Right. Why? Because Sports Illustrated and Nike spent at that time tons of money on advertising in Sports Illustrated. So if you had an option to pick a cover shot of a Nike guy or a Reebok guy, you're going to go with the Nike guy because they're advertising all this kind of money. Why would you put something that's not going to represent what you're trying to sell? So I think you have to stay loyal to, you know, the IFBB and the NPC to flourish, or in the sense like a person. If you're a rotten person, I'll never say anything bad about anybody in the sport, but there are people out there that are cocky, arrogant, say shit about people, do things that aren't right. Why would you want? It's a business. You can't have that person representing your brand. NPC, IFBB is a brand. If he's talking shit before he wins, when he wins, he's going to talk more shit. He'll never win because the top 5 are all great.
Yeah.
Well, does it make sense?
Those people get weeded out anyway.
Exactly, but they'll tease him with 3rd or 4th because it means nothing. You know that it's either one or none. You wanted to win. No one even remembers 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. If you didn't win, did it really matter to you if you took 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th? Really?
No, it didn't.
You didn't give a shit at all. Once you didn't win, who cares what place you are? And that's the mindset. You came in to win. You didn't come in to say, 2nd's good, 3rd's good. It's not good. So they'll tease somebody with a 2nd and a 3rd to really, really grind it. That's on the outside looking in. I've been around it 34 years. I've seen them, you know, come and go. And I've seen the ones that really on the great representation for the sport. And they'll never win. They'll never win.
What was the line in that Talladega Nights with Ricky Bobby? What did he say? You're either first or you're last.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. And like, you know, you show me a good loser. You show me a good loser. He's a loser, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's kind of what it is. We're in it to win it. And I know you are too.
Steve, when did you take the belts from function to fashion and do the customization? Because that was a game changer within the industry. Beyond just making a better belt, you now made a belt that, in the sense of like Nike, right? Like Nike can make a better sneaker, but most people aren't wearing Nike because they think it's a better sneaker. They're wearing it because it goes with their sweatshirt, of their pants, right? The fashion side of it. When did that start, the customization, and how has that evolved all the way up to now with like you guys are doing these tattoo belts?
Well, it's a good question. Kind of right out of the gate, I had customizing there, but I didn't really push it because, you know, no matter what, even at the very beginning stage, a belt is somewhat fairly expensive. So I first had to get the belt out there, so for people to know the comfortability of it. But to get it on the top pros, it kind of started with the wrestlers. Hulk Hogan wanted Hulkster on his. They all wanted. So I had that capability, but now I had to bring it in. So probably within the second or third year, once I started getting involved with the wrestlers and them wanting their gimmick name on there, that's kind of how it all started. But going back to, you know, even in the industry, everybody, even when I was with Reebok or whoever I'm with sneaker-wise, everybody wants Nike. They want to be associated. Athletes go with Nike for no money. Athletes go with Nike for exposure. I remember Reebok offering guys from Nike money. They don't want it. They want to stay with Nike because Nike is the brand to be. You're kind of, who you are is kind of the brand you represent. So you could be the top dog bodybuilder. If you're with Mikey's supplement company, you kind of have the aura that you're Mikey's supplement company. It's better to trade off and be with a big player and be representative. That's kind of how I wanted to position it. I want a guy to wear my belt as a brand, be in the kind of the fraternity with all the pros to wear it. Every Mr. Olympus since '92, every Arnold Classic from day one, it wears my weight belt. It's like going on tour for golf, and every single tour champion uses your club. Every single one of them. Every single professional bodybuilder that has won a major title has worn my weight belt.
So have you, with this stuff, you know, just being in business 34 years and being every bit as relevant today as the early years, did you have a business mentor early on, or somebody that you went to often throughout the years? Because I want to get into your ability to pivot, such as you know, the magazine era to now the social media where you're really thriving.
Yes.
But did you have a mentor along the way that helped, or is this just something that you had to figure out on your own?
Well, basically my father was hard worker, so it came down to basically hard work in the sense of I wanted to always be involved in sports. I wanted to be the best of what I could be at sports. So I went from hockey to powerlifting to a transition. There's a gentleman I'm still friends with. He's like 87 years old. He was somewhat of a business mentor. His name is Mel. So we connected. He kind of gave me some direction. But there is also, there's like key people. A guy from Reebok, the guy who I made the deal with for the belt, is still my mentor, because these people are all extremely good business people. I take a little bit from each one of them that will work for me in my industry, because this industry is totally different than any industry. We know that. It's just marketing of this is totally different than marketing of any other thing, especially like a Reebok, where everything is professional, everything has to look good. The supplement companies, or the companies that take that, they want to have that Nike look to their page. That ain't this industry. This industry is more hands-on. They want to see what you're doing, how you're doing it. And if I didn't make the change from print to social media, I'd be lost.
Well, I was listening to an interview, you know, and a really good comparison you brought up was Bill Phillips, right? Who is the absolute king of print, with Muscle Media, the Body for Life book. I had that book as a kid. Which is essentially one big infomercial for EAS supplements, right? So you bought a $30 book that then convinced you to use his.
Correct.
So absolute genius.
And he's the one who basically he gave you hope. you're not a freak, you have an amazing build. But he said, you don't have to be a freak to lift. You can look good, because the masses want to look good. They don't want to look like Jose. Jose's a freak, but Jose has that freak niche. That's his deal. But the masses, you'll never look like Jose. So he said, let's just lift and look good. He changed the industry. He changed everything.
Yeah,
I think
the before and after transformations. I still remember opening up Body for Life. You've got the guy that was like 70 years old, right, with a belly.
Yep.
Now he's got a six-pack. All the photos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was amazing.
You had mentioned in the podcast, Bill Phillips. I double checked, like 9,600 Instagram followers.
Yeah, exactly.
And so one of the things I wanted to ask you about, we've talked about this a lot in past podcasts with different guests, of Jose's generation of coming up, where he just had to worry about being the best bodybuilder he could be.
Yes.
He had to train, improve, place well in shows, and the contracts came because everybody wanted the top guy. And it just involved photo shoot, maybe the day after a show. They got their photos. It went in the magazines. He didn't have to do anything.
Yes.
And Jose's admitted that he struggled once he switched to companies that said, we need you to post every single day. When you're drinking a shake, take a picture. When you're at the gym. And it's something that he's admitted he struggled with. We've had previous guests on that have said the same thing. They were right at that period where there's the guys that I looked up to didn't have to do this shit. So I don't know, the social media thing, we all think of just kids dicking around on their phones, right? So it doesn't feel like a business.
Yes.
What was that moment where you realized what social media actually was, right? It's an audience. It's essentially a platform like a magazine, like TV, where if you can capture these people, these are customers. When did you kind of catch on? And, I've heard you mention you have a goal of getting to 1 million followers on Instagram. I think you're about 670,000-ish around there, which is bananas, absolutely crazy. And it shows that that's something that you've worked at, because that doesn't happen by accident. So talk to me a little bit about that moment where you knew you had to transition, and now what your game plan is with social media.
Well, that's a good point. First off, the older we get, again, it's harder for an older guy to make changes because he's already set in his ways. But to be successful, you have to go with the times. You have to go with the youth. The youth is social media. Now they talk about on TV, everything is social media. Everything is the gram, everything. This is what it is. So I kind of gravitated to it pretty quick, realizing, hanging around younger people, that was going to be the trend. You came in the store, I would say to you, hey, Nate, what do I need to do to be better? You're younger, you're more on the ball. You gave me some good ideas. Peter is a great talker. You kind of said, get more personal. I try. It's extremely difficult. I can do this with you, but to get on Instagram and start coaching and telling people, it's just not me, because there are other people that are better than me that can do that. That's not my strength. I can help in advice and things, but that's not my strength to be I'm not a preacher. But if you have that niche, that's good. So it kind of also, true with both of you. Jose, we did the water bucket workout. Jose came up here, we did the water. His videos of him doing the curls with the bucket were the first viral videos. So they're all whacking Jose, giving him credit, which I'm saying, hey, it's both of us, man, kind of. But he was the one who said, shit, man, Jose was all over the place doing those curls. He was on every platform in the bodybuilding, but he wasn't dialed into his Instagram at that time, so he didn't capitalize on it. But I could see, holy shit, everyone is seeing this guy. And it's going viral. I started putting my stuff out there, my training, just regular training. Jose knows, going back to his brother, Doug Clark, his brother trained like a nut. Doug Clark, we all trained kind of off the grid, just something totally different than anyone else. So I was doing this forever. So I just started doing the buckets, expanding my gym, and it started going viral. So by going viral, I just don't, I don't sell washing machines because I use one. I wear my weight belt. I will hang with anybody in core work. So don't tell me that a weight belt weakens your core. That's all bullshit. My back is healthy. I'm healthy. So it's not like me driving a belt on your throat on my Instagram. I'm just kind of showing you that a belt has helped me to achieve the things. And I also make weight belts. So I kind of integrate, how many belts can I put up? You know what I mean? How many belts can, oh, look at this belt, look at this belt. Okay, enough with the belt. So I had to integrate my training, which is somewhat different. It's got, you know, it's in New York, the Post put it as extreme workouts. You know, it's gotten out there. It's been viral. So by that, it has helped my Instagram, which has helped my business, which in return, you know, we talk about Pete. It was a Pete with the tattooing belts. It was a natural transition. My job with what I do is to promote my business, help Peter with his business. It was a natural transition for me to get that laser tattooing machine for Peter because he's an artist. When it comes to this, he says, great. I knew he'd be great at this. So I said, Pete, this is your baby. Take it. You do your thing. I have all the trust in the world. I'm not going to say, hey, put this on there. This is your thing to do. Now it's amazing. He's whipping out like 10 belts a day. It's going to get to the point where it's going to escalate into probably another machine, whatever it takes. But it's just, you have to have the vision. You can't just be stuck in one spot. I knew if I didn't get the laser going, you know, I'd be stuck. I don't want to be stuck. I want to keep moving. The same thing with social media.
That's the interesting thing with your business is that there's nothing patentable, right? There's nothing necessarily proprietary in terms of Jose and I tomorrow could say we're starting a belt company and we're going to put logos. And as you know, there's some people in the last couple of years that have started companies with putting names on the back. But I think because you're like the Nike of the industry, right? Like I don't want one of these other belts because it feels like a knockoff. It feels like I'm getting a Chinatown Louis Vuitton item versus a real Louis Vuitton item, right? And so that's the really interesting thing. I was thinking about this is, you know, you watch Shark Tank, I'm assuming, right? The Gronkowski, an ice shaker. And, and I was thinking about this morning too of, you know, you got your ice shaker, I got mine here. There's a lot of similarities here in terms of, you know, it's a shaker bottle, right? They've been around forever, but it's a better shaker bottle in that it's going to keep things cool for 2 days, you know, 3 days maybe. But the pivot for them, besides, I mean, they could have just made this in black and silver and called it a day and said, buy it for its functionality. But now you have, you know, ANC. You have Hard Body Meals has it. Every company out there, right? So companies now are trying to sell the products for them because of the branding thing, which is very similar to what you've done with the belts. I know you guys are good friends. How did you guys link up, and what have you learned from each other in this?
Well, one of the guys that worked there, younger kid, his name is Josh. He's kind of the lead guy now. I think he has one of the bigger positions. He had one of my belts. So he, a couple of years ago, wanted to get Chris something special for Christmas. So in his mind, what is better than getting someone one of my belts with their logo on it? So once Chris received the belt, next thing I know, Chris is in Stop and Shop with his belt on. Chris is going crazy with this belt. He's wearing it everywhere. So I see, you know, the guy's excited about it. I just see the excitement. So I wanted to kind of get involved. I said, Pete, you know, let's get some ice shakers in the store. This guy seems to get it, man. He's going around the store with my belt on. He's showing some love. Let's give him a little bit. What do you have to lose? Pete said, absolutely. I'd love to carry the thing. So he took it in. We kind of became somewhat friendly through business, but, you know, there's 5 brothers. They're all professional athletes. I love dealing with athletes to get into business because anyone at that level wants to be the best. So you want to be the best at Tiddlywinks. You want to be the best. I want to be the first in line at the movies. It's just weird. It's not like it's just in me. You know what I mean? I want to be first, whatever. It's not, it might not be healthy, but that's their mindset too. So talking to 2 people that are racing to be first in line, putting our ideas together to get first, let's get first together. We're non-conflicting. I'll give you my advice. You give me your advice. You guys have great advice. We work together. That's how the world should be. Even competitors. My belt might not be the right. I tell If you're looking for stiff belt, I give you a competitor. I don't make stiff belts. I can make anything I want. I can make single prong. I can make suede. I can make anything. I choose not to. So by doing that, if someone was looking for something specific, I send them to somewhere else. I have no problem with it. You know, but obviously you're not going to, no weight belt company will ever outwork me. Ever, ever, ever. Never happen. It can't happen. I'm too far ahead.
That's the thing that I love too, is that, you know, you're 34 years in this game. You know, I live in a building where it's like a luxury high rise in Boston, and there's a lot of people who have 30 plus years of running their own business. And typically at that point, the whole reason they started the business and not worked for somebody else is to get to the point where you're at, where it's established. It's, you know, if you stopped working tomorrow, your belts would still sell because it is what it is. To just take their foot off the gas and enjoy life, right? And start enjoying finer things, and, you know, get the nice car, get the nice watch, and man, you're so unassuming. Every time I come into that store, you're running around, you're taking a call, you're in a meeting, if somebody met you on the street, they would not know the business that you've built up, right? In the success. Because you're too
let it
busy
fly.
with your head down, right?
You want. Yep.
And it's, you know, it must have been interesting for you with the partnership with ANC and the supplement brands coming in, because you see it very much on that side in the marketing of, once they hit 1 year in business, they're driving a Ferrari and they've got a $50,000 watch on, you know, and they're showing that off, and you've just always had your head down, and you've always looked to say, I mean, I still get the sense that you're running your business like someone's trying to put you out of business.
Correct. 1,000%. That's exactly it. You got the right eye. Because again, you can't take your foot off the gas. I enjoy what I do, so I don't work, obviously. You know, I love what I do. People that kind of give me a little need or a little push on social media. My nephew says it's not right, but it fuels me. I say, Peter, do you think when someone gives Bill Belichick a little bit of bullshit that he like, oh, he wants to murder that guy the next game? He might come off all cool and, hey, that guy's a nice guy, and he wants to bury him. And if you don't have that bury in you, you'll never be number one. You'll never be number one. I mean, you don't intentionally try to hurt someone, but if they're coming at you with some bullshit talk or some shit, that fuels me. I love it. You know what I mean? I really do. You know, it's just sad that they would be so much better off by not pushing my buttons, because I wouldn't even pay attention to it. But once you push my button, then my goal is to bury you. Leave me alone. Don't nudge the tiger, man. It's so stupid, especially when my work ethic. It's not going to happen. I'll never let it happen. Then you know, my nephew, hopefully, you know, we'll just keep it going, and you know, nudge him. You know, he's the best in the country with the store. You go in there. He's not the best because he goes home and he's there all the time. He's promoting his store. He stays at it. He's great to his customers. I have all the faith in the world in him selling my belt and doing the laser and doing everything else. But if he doesn't have that eye of the tiger, someone's going to go buy him, man.
Speaking of work ethic, Steve, you're still training like every day. You're still, whether it's in the winter, out on the ice, skating,
Yep.
Still doing something. You're squatting logs and stuff. What is going on? Where did that come from? The new wooden plates you're using there.
Well, you've been here, man. You've been, you know, it's the elements of it's just being outside. You know, it was just a cool transition. The weights would get rusty and ruined. I say, hey, my Howie at Budget Fence, he cut me some logs. Say, here, Steve, try these. Then I had stones. Then one day I'm chopping some ice. I said, let's do some. It's just fun because you've been doing it for so long. I mean, how many squats can we do? How many, you know what I mean? I have to make it interesting now. I like to make it fun. I do my regular workout. Then I go out and have some fun. I do a skate. I push a sled. That's all fun stuff. I don't say, oh, this is my core of my workout. We're both already built a foundation. Now the key for us is to hold on to what we've built. If we can hold on to what we've built when we were in our younger days, then we're actually gaining, because instead of losing 2% of muscle a year, we're holding 2%, so we're gaining 2% muscle every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not losing muscle. Even if we maintain it, in actuality, through the law of age, we're gaining every year by holding it.
Right.
That's my goal.
Are you still doing that, the wheelbarrow carry up over there by,
Yeah. That's kind of like my Jack LaLanne thing. Every year I make sure and get my ass up that hill with that barrel. So Rob DeFranzo over at Pro Auto, he's making me a custom one with some badass shit. So when it's ready, I'm gonna try to get two. We'll bring you back up there for that.
Listen, we want to come up real bad. We've been doing a series of like hardcore gyms and filming a workout there. So we definitely want to come up and do it at your place.
Okay, yeah, we'll plan it. We probably got at least two good months before the crappy weather. You were up here. We did one when football season.
It was in the fall.
Yeah, we still got a great workout.
Oh, it was awesome.
But we got to plan. It's kind of developed into like a leg. It's the ultimate for legs and back.
Yeah.
Now I got like 5 leg machines out there.
Yeah. When I was there, you had the deadlift set up, the row.
Yes, the bench.
You had a bench.
Yeah. Now I have 2 hacks, a leg press. Oh, I got some good stuff. You'll love it. Yeah, just get your legs. Tune up your hip that day.
So should we plan to do legs with you? Come up.
Yeah, legs. Yeah, we'll do legs.
So do you have a leg extension in the?
Yeah, leg extension, brutal. Doug, Cuckoo Dougie.
Yeah.
I'll have to have Cuckoo Dougie come up to set the pace. So we'll have it.
All the viewers out there, the gym. How many square feet is your barn there?
The gym inside is 80 feet long by 40 feet wide. Do the math.
Okay, that's what is that, Nate? What is that? 2,400 square feet?
Yeah, at least. Yes.
It's a good sized gym, and he's got everything in there. The old school stairmaster.
Yeah.
The handlebar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You don't press in the computer. You push forward if you want to go fast.
Yeah, you're ready to fall off. You whip that handle back. That's even better because by the time you mess with that button, you're already on your face.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, we'll warm up a little bit inside. Yep. I have some of the new bars. I have the Transformer bar. You'll love that. I have the Zach Mars bar. 2 amazing new bars. And to talk about that, jump off about you ever hear of the guy Chris Duffin? He's the guy who developed the Kabuki bar.
That's the one that
the Transformer bar, the one that goes over your shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah, he squatted 1,001 pounds for 3 reps. Wow. And he deadlifted 1,001 pounds for 3 reps. Oh. So I made some belts for him. I have one of his bars. I just read his book, highly motivational, just a little short for him, but a couple of these bars you're going to love, the Mars bar and the Transformer bar. We'll do we did the squat up here, I think, to the point of failure. We'll do it with those 2 bars, and that will set the precedence for our leg workout.
So you don't have to reach behind you.
No, it comes over your shoulder.
Oh,
and one of them hangs low on your back, and the other one almost the Transformer, you can make it feel like a front squat. So we'll load the buckets, and it comes out to be all 50 reps, and bring your puke bucket. That's Gaspari. Rich wants to do legs. Rich wants to do legs too. Rich can take it.
Yeah,
Rich is one of those guys. He takes it to the puking phase. Yeah. So we'll see what he has too. But yeah, definitely have a good one. We got to bring Doug though, because the leg extension is absolutely crazy. I like leg extension, but I'm a little fearful of you get the pros and cons about damage and but he takes the leg extension to the point of death like Tom Platts. I'll have my recovery therapist from Pro Farm, Chad. He'll come. He'll body temper us out. Guy's amazing. So it's gotten a little bit more elaborate since you've been here the last time. Now we have our full staff.
Well, I've been watching and I see it all. That brings me to an interesting thing is that you've become so well known, particularly through social media, that now these companies sending you stuff now, sending you the bars, sending you pieces of equipment for you to try out because they know you're going to put it on video and get it out there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I get a lot of stuff offered to me, but I'm one of those guys that if I don't really believe in it or love it, I have to be, I'm even passionate about the stuff I use. So most of the time, if I've sensed it, you know, I almost stop by, I purchase. If I like it, then the relationship builds, and then they send me kind of what I want. I'm not one of those guys, because I know what it's like. Hey, send me a belt. I'll get you all over Instagram. You know what I mean? If you're true to me, don't go into Nike looking for a deal wearing a pair of Reeboks. That's not how you do it. You know what I mean? Don't go in, you know. So I have a lot of offers to get stuff. I refuse a lot of stuff because I just don't feel like it's a fit for me. But when you see me actually using something, I use it because I love it. And if I didn't have people like you and the Dexters and the Flexes and all these people of the world using my stuff and helping me when I first started, I wouldn't be where I am today. So there's a lot of startup companies. Mars Bar, startup company. The bar is amazing. You know, if I didn't use it and if I didn't believe in it, but I do, like, people believe in my belt, and I'm helping him in return. That makes me feel good, and I don't want anything from anyone, because I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have people like you wearing my product because you like it.
Exactly.
So that's kind of, so anything that I have here is approved that I love, and I know you'll love, because, you know, we're on the same, the training part with, you know, we're all dialed in. So you'll love this shit, and then you'll want to get one for your gym, because these things are that good.
Oh yeah, I'm amazed that more gyms don't have those alternatives, because not everyone can get their hands behind their back to do a squat.
Oh my God, it's the most amazing. Like I said, it's amazing. And then, you know, going to the Sorinex and the Thompson fat pads, the dumbbells you put your hands in.
Yeah.
They're the greatest things. They're the greatest, and like a amazing invention. We have those.
What are they? They're like
They look like they look like a bowling ball, and
right.
you put your hands in them. So the weight is wrapped around your hand. So there's no
strain in the wrist.
Oh, and you can come in close. It's amazing. I didn't have them here when you were here the last time.
Not yet. No.
No, you'll love those too. But, you know, it'll be an interesting day.
I've seen many variations of that.
Yes, the
like
J belt. Yep. But Sorinex has one. I happen to have the ones from Donnie Thompson. They're from Rogue. He sent me a pair of those, which are great, and he knew I'd like those. So they're amazing. You'll love those for sure.
Nice.
Yep.
Go ahead, Nate. I see you.
So, you know, I heard you mention, obviously, you want to get to 1 million Instagram followers.
Yes.
What are some of your other goals? Because you strike me as a person that has that list of, you know, this is what I'm accomplishing this month, this year, the next 5 years. What are some other things you're striving for?
Well, the million mark for me personally, just it will kind of justify the work I put into it. A million verified count is pretty good for a weight belt company. That has been helped through people sharing my videos. That's what the whole name of the game is. Sports Center shared one. I got like 100,000 followers. It was big. You know, that's my goal, just to keep navigating through the social media, keep learning. But ultimately, you know, I want to help the people. My goals are to help the people that kind of help me. My nephew, I want to see him flourish in what he does. My spokesmodel, she has a few companies. I want to help her. Seeing other people around me succeed is my goal at this point. Like I said, you said I can sit back right now and take it to my last day and still be okay. You follow me? I don't live elaborate. I like to eat. I do what I want to do. I go where I want to go. You know, I don't need a lot. I'm not one of those flashy guys with shorts, a t-shirt. Like you said, you look at me, you won't know anything about me, but that's fine. I don't need any of that. I'm very, very happy. But to see other people around me succeed, to see your podcast succeed with Jose will be amazing. I'll do anything I can to help you guys do this. Whatever you need, that will make me happy seeing you guys succeed, because you're good. You've always been good to Peter. You're a great friend, customer. Jose's been a great friend. There's nothing more that I want to see is to see you guys succeed. By you succeeding, I know I'm going to succeed even more. By me succeeding even more, I'll be able to help more people.
So,
and that's the honest to God truth.
You're not a flashy guy. I've never seen you drive anything. What is your favorite car? Is it that little smart car?
No, that's Peter's car. Peter's the funny. I still like that, the SSR. I have 4 of those. You know the ones, the one I had the iForce on?
Yeah, yeah. It
That
looks
car.
like an old hot
Yes.
rod.
Yeah, that's still my favorite car. I love that car. I only have 3 of them now, but I love it. I love that car.
That's nice.
But yeah, we just need to get to point A to point B.
Yeah, yeah. You're definitely not a flashy guy. I seen you driving a pickup truck for a little while.
Yeah, that's so we can haul the stuff around. But yeah, maybe a new F-150. But again, cars 20 years ago, I might have been more apt to be wanting a nice car. But I don't. I just like to eat good.
Yeah, you'd rather spend it on sushi.
Yeah, I love food, man. Yes, exactly.
So Howie was over the house a couple weeks ago, and he had one of those. He had one of those smart cars.
Yes.
And he was telling me, he's like, I gotta go pick up these new weights for Steve.
Yes.
He said he got like 10s and 25s and 5s in wood.
Yeah. He when he's out on the job, he grabs the logs for me. So he'll tell the guy, hey, cut some plates for my buddy Steve. So he likes the visual. He also someone gravitated to social media. Yeah. And his is another whole story, but his business is flourishing because of it. And he took my advice, and he's happy that I gave him advice. Hey, I said, this is what you have to do. So he's been a friend of mine. He inspired me training. He's probably one of the strongest people in the world at his time. He deadlifted 600 to 148 when he was 19. A true freak. As freaky as Doug is on his spectrum, yeah. He's as freaky in the powerlifting world. So he's been a great friend, a great mentor. Someone I would always be chasing to be stronger, which never could get to, even though he was lighter. But I want to surround myself with stronger people that are smarter than me. I don't want to be. I want to be that. He's the stronger, smarter, whatever it is. I want to get better at what I do. Get a collaboration of a bunch of greatness and become great.
And most importantly, good people.
That's the bottom line. You have to be around good people, right? Because good people want to help good people. You have to give to get, and it's just about helping you. I mean, I want to see you. I want this thing to be huge, and there's no reason why it can't be. You guys have a great thing. Nate has this stuff together. Everyone loves you. No one ever has anything bad to say about you because you never say anything bad about anybody.
Right.
And no matter what company you work for, like I said, you never said, hey, this company, they screwed me, they dumped me, or whatever to say. I don't even know the situations. You just said, hey, you can, still sell it, but you mind taking on this? You're still on the window of the store. You're not even with them. But Peter and I feel horrible taking that down because it's you. It's not it's not the company we're on. It's on the window. It's your one.
Great.
You're on the window. You follow me? So till this day, you're the last one that's going to come down. We're going to have to think of how we're going to get you back on the window, no matter how we have to do this. But you're not going to, it's almost like we can't take that down. That's Jose, BPI, whatever it may be, but that's Jose. So his loyalty is, always going to be to you because you've been to every event. You always stop by my booth. You never try to dodge me. You always come in. You're always welcome. It's just who you are. That's huge. The sport needs more people like you. And Jim Mannion and all these people, no one has anything bad to say about you. Yeah. It's just you competed at time.
Random phone calls I get. I just saw you on a storefront. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
No, seriously, it was you. I was at a stoplight and I saw you. I'm like, I know. Yeah, it's been there for years.
Yeah. And, a million cars go through, and I just lose you?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Hold on 1 second. So we back? Holy shit. Yeah, we're back. Okay. So I mean, it's just about the relationships that you build over the years. That's why I'm still doing it, because I've never slated anybody. I've done the best I could do. That's kind of what it is. So we appreciate you. Pete appreciates Nate. I appreciate Nate. And it's not blowing smoke up each other's ass. It's factual. It's the proof is in the pudding.
Right. Go ahead, Nate.
So, a lot of our listeners are probably, imagine, up and coming bodybuilders, guys that are fans of Jose, follow the sport. Probably most of them don't make a living, in the sport, but want to get some notoriety for whatever shape they're in.
Yes.
And probably have some side hustle, right? Whether it's they're trainers, whether they're trying to market some product. What advice, whether it be business advice or marketing advice, would you give to somebody out there to move them further along, whether it's, you know, a game plan to have or a way to view things?
Okay. The most important thing, Nate, as well as you know, there are some people, you know, you're, say, personal trainer. There are some people that you will train or that want to be trained by you, that you see something great in them or you see great potential that they can help you. So you say, hey, I will help you. I'm not looking for anything from you, but I know if something could come my way that could help me later, not tomorrow, a week, could be 3-4 years, that this guy, now that you trained, that you saw great potential in, he's a strength coach of some major university. They need someone to come in and help them. He calls you. So you have to give. You can't be always, oh, how much you going to give me? How much you going to give me to do this? How much you going to give me? You have to lay down to pick up. You have to be willing to give, to get, and not indirectly get it that same day. You know, you may never get anything. I still, they're cashing in a chip, you want to call it. 25 years later, the gentleman that I trained, my mentor, the guy who's 87, he did a life-changing thing for me to help my nephew later on in life. The guy has multiple millions of dollars. I never wanted a cent, never wanted nothing from him. I trained him for 5 years. I got to the point where I trained with him because I was just training. We became great friends. 25 years later, he did a life-changing thing for me to help my nephew. So that's just the way it is. I wasn't looking for nothing. He wasn't looking for nothing. We became friends. It's nice to build relationships. Anything you do, you have to be able to, you can't look for something directly happening. Like Jose, he never said, hey, Steve, I want this to do this. But when an opportunity arose for me to help Jose, right away, Jose came into my mind. This is the guy for your company. If he got the deal, then he indirectly got something from me that I couldn't do for him right then. You have to be able to, and I think you would agree with me. You can't do it for everybody, but there are some particular people that you have to say, okay, it's worth the risk to try to help this gentleman or lead him in the right direction for free. I'll lead you to this guy, but you're going to have to give me a percent of whatever you do. That ain't how you do it. You say, here, this is the guy that can help you. If he scores, if he's the right person and you think he is, that you sent him there, he's going to take care of you in some other way. So
that's a great takeaway, is just do the right thing by people. You know, do things for people out of the goodness of your heart. I know people out there, for example, that'll, you know, a promoter will ask them, hey, you know anyone good to guest pose for me? You know, tell them I'll give them $2,500 to guest pose. Then this guy will reach out and say, hey, Jose, you want a guest pose? He's offering you $1,500.
Yeah.
So the guy's taking $1,000 from you.
Yeah. Horrible.
He's doing you a favor.
No.
But, you know, what you're doing and what you've always done, and seems to be the rules you live by, is just do the right thing.
Yeah,
you know?
And be honest, and that's it. But I'm sure, but you as a person, if someone said, hey, Jose, my friend needs someone to guest pose, he's a half an hour from here, would you mind going in? You know, if you're not going to, you're the type of guy who would say, yeah, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for nothing. I want to help you, help him. That's who you are. You know what I mean? You know, stories about Jim Manion. There are some bodybuilders that, you know, he would say, hey, I want you to come to the Pittsburgh show. Right away, the guy is whacking him, asking him, how much are you going to pay me? You're asking, you got to be an idiot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just do the right thing and life will be so much better.
Right.
But people don't get it. They want right away. How much is it? What am I going to get out of it right away? You'll never go the long term if you do that. You might score quick in the beginning, but eventually you can't call anyone. You can't ask for favors. You can't do anything. I can pick up the phone and, you know, I went through my Rolodex of people that I have numbers of, their phone numbers. It blows me away that they have trust in me, that they can trust me not to relinquish things. And we have a relationship, and my Rolodex is amazing. I don't ever ask anybody for anything. You know, you once in a while, I'll say, can you do this? Someday? You and I really ask each other for anything. It just happens. You say, hey, can you get me? You know, you ask me for a friend for a belt. You don't ask me for you. You say, can you get my friend a belt?
Right.
Done deal. If you're asking me, it's a done deal. But it's not directly for you.
Right.
That's how we do it.
Yeah, we try to get the Cardillo belts out. You don't know how many phone calls I've gotten through the years about it. And
yes. And I'm sure out of 50, there are 10 that you asked me for because they're the right people to give them to.
Exactly.
And that's what we have trust in each other, that, you know, if you're going to ask somebody, if I'm going to ask you to guest post for somebody, I'm not saying to 20 people, that's that one guy, hey, Jose, I need you to do me a favor. And can you guest post for this guy?
Yeah.
And you say, if I'm asking you, then you would say yes, because I wouldn't be asking you if I didn't want you to ask you.
Yeah.
Because I don't ask you every day for something.
I got a story that the viewers will be very happy to hear. And this is just a great story. Back 8 years ago, I was going to compete in England, and the company I was with at the time was like, yeah, you know, originally they said they were going to pay for my flight. And so I was already booked to go, slated to be there. I signed the contract and everything. And then last minute, they tell me they're not paying for the flight. So I happened to be in ANC. I'm talking to Pete, we're talking to Steve. And I told them just through conversation, I was like, this fucker won't pay for the flight. And, you know, it was like $1,000, you know, and I'm like, you know, I just, whatever, never thought of it again. A couple days later, Pete calls, hey, come down the store. We got something for you. I thought it was another belt. I come down. There's an envelope. They hand it to me. I'm like, what is it? What the hell is this? I don't know what it was. It's a check for my flight. And it was like the most touching thing. It's just a story to tell people what kind of person you are, and Peter, and just the way you guys handle your business. You take care of your own. I didn't ask you for money. I didn't ask you I didn't tell you the story because I wanted you to feel bad for me. It was like, you were like, go win this show. Go do what you do best. You're not doing us any good being here when you should be there.
Right.
You know, and you know, that was something I'll forever keep with me, because it was a great experience. I went, and it was one of the greatest 212 lineups of all time. And I ended up placing third in the craziest lineup. And it was just an amazing story that you took upon yourself to take care of me. And I'll appreciate that forever.
Well, like I said, we're friends, and that's what friends do. I mean, you have to, and again, we're in a situation, desperate people do desperate things. I'm not desperate, so it's easier for me to, I never screw anybody because I'm not desperate, but desperate people do horrible things, and those are the people you have to stay away from. But we just have a great, like I said, I don't think we've ever asked anyone for each other. We just go about business.
Right.
That's it. It's just a day-to-day. This is how we do it. This is what friends are for. Yeah. And that's it. And it works out well. And, you know, I keep bringing up Doug, but Doug loves your brother. And
Doug's the best.
You know, he keeps talking about your brother, and, you know, if anyone can beat him, it can be your brother. And it's just a camaraderie that we all have, that it's good that everyone kind of supports each other.
Yep. So for the viewers that don't know, Doug is Doug Clark, and he was a stud. He still is a stud. But when I was a kid, you know, my brother was the ultimate athlete, good-looking kid, crazy physique. And you kept hearing these rumblings about a similar guy in the next town over. And, you know, everyone's like, yeah, no way is there a guy. Sure enough, only this guy was 6 inches taller. And he was a stallion, like 225 in high school. So then, you know, there were a few incidences where the town kids were getting in a fight. And sure enough, it came down to like Doug and Tito. And they meet each other, and instead of fighting, they become the closest friends and train together. And have a lifelong friendship. And
Yes.
I was only about 15 years old when I met Doug. And then he drove to my house on a motorcycle. He didn't have an extra helmet, so he's like, put your football helmet on.
Exactly.
Driving down the highway, I'm on the back of his bike with a football helmet on.
Yeah, you're all set.
We go and train. It was.
Can you imagine can you go into your brother again? Imagine if they had the way bodybuilding is today, how he would have dominated physique. What would he have cleaned house in?
He'd have been a classic physique.
Classic physique.
Unbelievable. Yeah. He was the ultimate classic physique before it existed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where, the NPC and the IFBB, they did the right thing. Now everybody can compete, and you're too bad back then your brother would have dominated like you do.
Yeah. Well, he dominated in the fitness model.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was on every cover. He didn't need to win a contest to be what he was, but he would have, in the day and today, he would have been top of the game.
Oh, no
It would have been nice to see him compete.
Yeah. Nate, ask him that question about the 5-year plan. He gets everyone with that one.
I already did. Basically, I already asked him what his upcoming goals were.
Yeah. Again, I mean, does that make sense? I mean, I've accomplished, I've accomplished kind of the million mark will be an accomplishment. It's a grind, but again, seeing you guys succeed, see my nephew, see the people around me that are good to me succeed will make me extremely happy. I'm happy making people happy.
So it's funny when I was listening to you on Gaspari's podcast, and you really dug into the marketing and social media stuff you were doing, and it's really your focus, right? Like you're trying to, you're not going to give up until you hit that million. You're saying, if I'm laying on a beach, I'm thinking about what my post is going to be that day.
Exactly. Yes.
Peter's post, everything clicked of like, I start my day, I open up my phone, and there's just some ridiculousness from Peter with his post, right? Like you just wait for it. You're like, what is it going to be today? And it made so much more sense, right? Because there's a strategy behind it. Peter's just not mentally ill, and gone off the rocker and posting crazy stuff.
Exactly.
With, his head on the body of a horse or something.
Yes.
But it's the same idea of how much can he post of what supplements are on the shelves before people tune out, right?
Yes.
So he has a captive audience because we're waiting to see whatever the crazy video is.
Yes.
And then there might be a product right at the very end, like a product placement.
Yes.
So it makes a lot of sense. I'm still learning the social media thing, even though I'm younger and I'm on it.
Yep.
I had never really thought of it in the sense of a business, right? It was more for my personal enjoyment as a time waster. And now it's shifting from that and saying, oh, no, I need to actually, this is work. I need to be productive. How do I get more subscribers on our YouTube channel? How do we get more views? What worked? What didn't work? I come from a fitness background of like executive of running personal training of a big national gym chain, right? So we had 8 gyms across the country. I was in charge of running all the training. And in that setting, my background there, it allowed us to say, okay, East Coast is going to do this, West Coast is going to do this, and then the Central is going to do this, and we'll see what works, right? Like real-time experiment.
Yes.
And I can kind of see you guys doing that on social media and saying, all right, this is what's working. Let's do more of that. Can you give us any tidbits of whether it's just for us or people watching of things that have worked for you? Obviously, we know the workout videos that have gone viral probably been the biggest spike. I see you doing a lot of giveaways, and within the giveaways saying like, post your belt size. I'm assuming that it's driving comments, and those comments probably push the post to more people. Is that
the algorithm? Yes, but yes, exactly. So let's see. So my idea with this whole social media is, it's great being recognized, using it as business, not personal, having a good time, which is great too. But if you're using it for business, if you can't turn your notoriety on social media into being noticed when you go into the bank, it's not worth it. I want to be known when I go in the bank, but by using my social media. You could be the greatest thing on social media, but if you can't turn it into money, you're just stroking your ego. If you're using it for business. If you're using it for personal, it's one thing. So you just have to kind of, the whole point is you're talking to whatever amount of people on your page, you're talking to them every day. They see your stuff every day, but you're just going into your living room every day talking to the same people. My whole idea is to get someone to take what I do to put it on their page. Now, even if it's 10 people that take one of my videos, that's 10 fresh people that are seeing my video that didn't see it yesterday. I don't care if it's 10, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it may be, even if it's 5. I go in and thank the guy for taking my video, starting his new page with my video. That's an honor to me that he thinks my video is going to get him his attention. 5 people see my video. That's 5 new potential customers that I want to thank and go in. So I go in, anytime I see someone sharing my stuff, I try to go in and interact on that guy's page, thank the people that left a comment for me, be it be positive or negative. I don't go negative. I just say, hey, that's your opinion. That's cool. But I get those people from his page because I'm interacting with his page. He likes it because he's getting me to comment on his page. I'm getting new people because I'm taking the time out of my day to thank them for even leaving a comment on his page. So it's a lot of work.
You've commented, like anybody that posts anything, you're right there commenting on it. You know,
correct. Yes. So if you were to share my post, I would come and say, Nate, thank you. I appreciate you sharing my post. It means a lot to me. It does mean a lot to me. I don't care how many people you have. Now, the people who win, like SportsCenter, I spent probably 4 days commenting on all the people's comments saying, oh, this is ridiculous. This is whatever you may think it is. You still left a comment. I appreciate leaving the comment because my comments on SportsCenter went way over 600,000. You know what I mean? So I got, not only did I get one of the most amount of views, and even in my mind, when I get shit on a page, when I'm on Machiavelli, I kind of want to make sure that my views are at the top of the list when it comes to, I want to be up there with Jay Cutler, with Ronnie Coleman.
So even in that, you're competitive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I see myself down, I go and make sure I comment to those people. I appreciate them watching my video. You know what I mean? You got to appreciate. So I would say getting yourself, thanking people because they're taking the time to leave a comment. You have to take the time to go back. It's a lot of work. But that's how the key, like, I say to Peter, like Peter has a great thing going with his audience, but Peter has to get his audience outside of his audience, right? So now I'm kind of wrapped into, I think the guy's name is Dave on Barstool, the owner, the pizza review.
Yeah.
The guy's great. He's a cocky bastard, right? But there's something about him that's great. He's handsome. His eyes are blue. His clothes are cool. He gives a review. So I'm saying, hey, Pete, you have the personality. I can't come on and give a review, but you can give an honest review on all the supplements like him. I think it'd have a niche. So if he's doing a supplement review for your product, you're going to be more apt to take that review and put it on your page. That's going to be his goal. It should be to get more people to share his content. He's a funny bastard. You know what I mean? When we first talked, I'm so serious that looks kind of not right for me. But now that I'm paying a little more attention to Barstool and Dave, I hope that's his name. Yeah, he's a funny bastard. So Peter's kind of falls in that line where he can be serious, he can kid around, and I think it would be effective for him. But he has to buy into it. He has to believe in it himself. But he has to get his page shared because he is funny. He has a great personality. He's great to the customers, but people have to see that. Where I'm serious, so basically I'm kind of channeled into talking to 1%ers about how to become even a stronger 1%er. So you know what I mean? It's nothing against, that's just who I am. I just have to be, it's not healthy, but that's what I have to be. I have to try to be the best.
This is all very valuable information here. Even I've learned a lot just from talking to you today about social media. I'm a nimwit when it comes to social media. I don't get it. I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, but if someone, coming from you, going on to someone who left a nice comment about you, and you acknowledging the guy said something nice about you, he's thanking you. You're thanking him for acknowledging you. It's only going to make your brand even better. It's easy to say, but it's not easy to do. I spent when that SportsCenter came up, I spent hours and days going back to that to make sure that I try to answer and comment on everyone that left a positive or negative comment. There was tons of negatives. I don't care. I have nothing to prove. I don't have to prove my strength. My shit is on paper when I was in my younger day. I don't have to prove my strength.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to prove nothing. Look at this. If you want to put enough money on the line, you can get in Olympia shape. You don't have to, but if the money's there, you can do it. I have nothing to prove.
I'm going to try to get in shape. You watch.
Yeah.
In a couple months, me and Nate are going to be posing down. We'll be shredded.
Yeah, there's no doubt. If you want to do it, but you don't have to do it. But it's up to you. You always look great. You've laid down a foundation. How long is it going to take you to get in shape? All it is tweaking your diet, man.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? You've laid down the foundation. We don't, you know what I mean? Now it's just, but you have to put your mind to it. You've done it a million times.
Yeah.
Nate knows what he's doing. You guys put it together. We'll do a water bucket workout, and then we'll get some viral videos. You remember doing how many videos? You were everywhere with that stupid trail.
Yeah, the viral video will be how many times does Nate puke? It'll be
how many times does Nate
me puking in a bucket over and over again.
We'll get you to go viral. The good thing about it, we'll have enough people that we will slow the pace down, so you'll get a great workout. You'll get the effect, but it won't be puking. When it's two people, it's like Doug. Doug comes up every Saturday. We do a circuit. It's nauseating. I hate the thought of him coming, but we get it done. But when it's 4 people, you get to go slower. You get to enjoy the workout, if you want to call it enjoying. You enjoy your 50 reps rather than have to go for another one 5 minutes later. Right. So you watch the other guy go through the pain because you know it's your turn, and if he gets 50, you better get 50.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Steve, listen, we've taken enough of your time. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy dude, and we really thank you. And I want you to do us a favor. If you can tell the viewers to come to the Boston Mess channel and subscribe.
Absolutely.
And hit the like button, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll be talking about this on my social media. Again, when I first started, and you were at what, maybe like 70,000, right? I was at 20,000. I would say,
right by me.
I'd say, Jose, can you? You there? I would say, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you? We're Bitiano. I said, can you put a post up for me? Yeah. You never even hesitated. You weren't saying, "Oh, it's going to ruin the flavor of my page." You just immediately put it up. That's So now I'm a little bit ahead of you. Yeah. So I'm going to try to help you the best I can help you with what you're doing. You just say, "Hey, Steve, I'm going to be interviewing, Jay Cutler. Can you whack him up there?" Done deal.
Yeah. All right.
We'll make it work. I want everyone to make sure they tune into watching you and Nate on your podcast, because I think you guys are onto something, and you're both great to me. And anything I can do, any one of the people you have on the show that don't have a belt, extend the branch, brother. I'll take care of every one of your guests that don't have it, but I'm sure most of them do. But hey, we'll even freshen them up too. Whatever you need from me, you have my number, and I will take care of whoever you guys need taken care of.
I appreciate it. I'm pretty sure 99% of our guests, if not every one of them, has a belt.
But let's get on Pete to do some tattooing for you guys.
Yeah, that's a whole new. Quickly before we go, tell us the difference. Is there a big price difference? What is the difference?
Okay, we're going back to the original plain leather belt from 100 years ago, right? Yeah. Which is still, it's still a car. It gets us point A, point B. So it's down and dirty. No air condition, no electric windows. It's just a belt. But what he does is he can add more art to it because of the lasering. The details are much greater. Okay. So he can put so much more on it. The turnaround time is a lot quicker than my embroidered belts. So the turnaround is quicker. And he just does an amazing job. You just tell him that where you want to be. What's your thoughts?
Embroider that.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. That can't be done. The only one that can be done, as you know, is the logo in the middle. That's the best I could do with embroidery. So we took it up to a notch. And Lindsay, the Olympic skier, just got her belt probably 2 hours ago. She's out there with Gunner. Oh. So I make it. Yeah. So that's probably the next thing. And The Rock has been rocking that one there too with all the sweat stains on it, because he's going back old school. But yeah. So anytime one of your guests needs something, Jose, reach out to Pete and I. We'll freshen them up and we'll keep it going. Same, Nate, you know what's going on.
And talk about advertisement for you. I was looking this morning. I think The Rock's at like 198 million followers on Instagram. Yeah. Like, that doesn't even seem possible, right? So when he's posting videos of his belt that's sweat through, man, you couldn't. I mean, that's multi-million-dollar post, you know,
Yes.
every time he
Yes.
does that.
Yes.
And I've always said, you know, I'm an old man now, but, you know, my goal is to still get that pro card. It's, you know, on my bucket list
Yes.
of,
Yes.
we've been competing the last couple years and
Well, you got
hopefully-
Jose, you'll get there.
Exactly. So, you know, first call is going to be to mom and dad to let them know we did it. Second call is to Steve Cardillo to get that IFBB pro belt.
Absolutely. Definitely. That's a no-brainer. You'll definitely get it. Jose will make sure of that, I'm sure.
He's close, man. He's
Well,
getting better.
before I even really knew him, you've been telling me you've always praised him.
Oh yeah.
So he, you know, he just got to grind, just like with the social media. He'll get there. He'll definitely win it, and we'll be happy to make him a belt and just keep on helping Pete, and it will make everyone happy. And that's it. That's how we do it. And I hope I answered that. It was great having on again. I try every time I do it, I'm going to run out of things to talk about, but this was perfect because we could talk about the loyalty and friendships and how it's done, and it makes it its own special kind of show that we had a chance to talk.
You know, that's the beauty of what we've been doing here is we try to make it different than every other interview, no matter who is on. So
Yes.
Each time, you know, we look back afterwards and I'm like, that was great. You know,
Yep.
I learned something. If I learned something from someone I've known for 20 years, then that's pretty cool.
Yes. 1,000%. Yeah, same here. But the bottom line is our loyalty to each other, our trust in each other. And with that, we can go on forever.
Right. That's right. All right, brother. Thank you so much. And,
Thank you.
I'll be down the store someday this week. I told Peter I'd come back. I didn't get to see him. And we'll chat it up.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. And thanks, Nate. And thank you. And whatever you guys ever need, again, thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you. Yep. Have a great one.
All right.